decline, so it doesn't.
Approved. Okay, I got 6 o'clock straight up, so let's kick this thing off.
Okay, Randy, Ed.
Welcome, everybody. It's our first town hall for 2026. So looking forward to 2026.
Ever.
So for those that are online, my name is Ed Bichak. I'm your president of the association, and with me is Kyle Thompson, our vice president. Tonight, we're going to talk about the two meetings, or excuse me, the annual meeting. This is kind of a preparation, first blush, if you will, for our preparation for the annual meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about for about 10 minutes here to kind of set the stage for what we're gonna do tonight. Along with everything that we've been doing as a board all along, there are certain things that we've been doing that are basically our rudder moving forward through everything we try to accomplish as a board. Basically, it's what have we been doing, where are we going, and how are we going to get there? So back in May, the board established 4 goals for this year to accomplish. 2 of them, the first 2 are our primary goals. Our first measure for a reasonable and responsible increase to our dues for our general fund. The second is a reasonable and responsible separate assessment for roads. Our third was an update to our CCRs. Those haven't been updated since 1996, 1998. So they need some love. And our fourth was shifting our focus from marina purchase to marina preservation. So we've been working on the last 2. The last 2 are going to take a little bit of time. They are ongoing, and Joe Parrott has been the subcommittee member taking the lead on our CCRs, and Kyle and I have been working together with Mr. Spencer, Kevin Spencer, working with Lauren Stills on crafting together some kind of options for the marina. And we're both, it's going to take some time. So those are the 2 items that we can give a briefing on. But specifically tonight, we're going to talk about the 2 measures that are going to be sent out in our packet to all the members for consideration for a vote for approval. So basically, back in April, we established those 2 goals. In May. So we've been working on our goals for quite some time now. Just prior to December, our September, October, and October meetings were focused specifically just on the budget. And it was a lot of work. I mean, we looked at this thing in every which way possible. But as compared to what we've done in the past, we usually take our dues of 350, we multiply it by 700 property owners as a forecast, and we start out with a budget of 245,000 and work down through the numbers. When we go through every single account, at the bottom, we come up with a contingency fund. And if we're if we're a negative, then we go back and make our adjustments, and we try to even things out so we have a $6,000 or $8,000 contingency fund. This year, we took a different approach. Our approach was based on need and what that number represents. So instead of just throwing a dart out there and saying, oh, we need $500 this year for the association for dues, or just saying it's been 30 years since our last dues increase, which we can't ignore that. We didn't use those as any kind of an option for our plan. We based our plan for our increase this year based on need and what that number represents. So using that logic, we came up with a number. Kyle is going to go through all the information for you in depth. He has everything laid out, so you know exactly what it is that we're asking for, and again, what that number represents. The second measure we're going to talk about tonight is the roads assessment. We are doing a separate ask for a separate assessment that is independent of the general fund. So we're not combining the two like what was proposed last year. It's a total separate number. Kevin Fitzpatrick and his team put together a 5-year plan, and the board reviewed it. And at that time, we decided to go with a 3-year assessment to the membership. And Kevin's, I'll go over this in more detail here a little bit. Kevin was going to be here tonight, but his commercial building back in the valley needed some attention, and so we had to take care of that. But I'll cover that a little more in depth as we go. But the way we approached it was the same. What is the need of the association, and what does that number represent? So those are fundamentally two different approaches that we're using this year. And really, that's the way we should be doing it all along anyhow. So no dartboards, no guessing. We put together a yearly plan for the first 3 years, and I'll take you through that here in just a little bit, and it'll all make sense to you. So that has been pretty much our approach on how we've been looking at this. And again, Kyle's going to take us through some in-depth information. If you all have a question, please do. The whole idea is, and whether or not you realize it or not, because this is all in preparation to our annual meeting, you've all just been enlisted in the committee for our assessment tryout and shooting holes in what we're going to be presenting at the annual meeting and in the packet. So tonight you are our first blush, so we're asking you to ask questions, and we'll try to answer them, and it'll be basically our preparation moving forward for any questions you may have and what we're going to come up against at our annual meeting. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Kyle, and he'll take us through the numbers.
I'm listening to it.
Jerry, can you please mute your iPad?
Anyway.
All right, so I'm just going to walk you through the numbers.
Well, so
How much do we need? Where's that money going? And in detail, give you exactly what we're trying to accomplish here with this dues increase. Out of curiosity, we are trying to communicate to everybody what's going on. What are we asking for? We've put this budget on our website. Out of curiosity, how many people have seen it on our website?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Got a few? All right. Hold on.
He's the host. I made him the host.
So whoever's not muted, you can mute.
They,
Yeah, hold on. We're having some technical difficulties. Hold on, folks.
That's all
I
you
think they just did it. They just
Okay.
muted themselves.
All right. So we do have all this information in a lot more detail on our website. It's right on the very front page. We encourage you to take a look at it. We encourage you to ask questions. Send an email to any board member. We'd be happy to answer those questions. We're going to be voting on two things. One is a roads budget, separate roads budget that could only be used for roads. And then we have an operations budget. That's $494. The roads budget is $275. That's what we're asking for. If you look at the last 3 years, including this one, in 2024, the board came to the community and asked for $795. It was a complete budget. We didn't break out roads. That was turned down. Last year, they came back and said, we need 800. And it was turned down. The feedback that we received is it's not about the money. The board didn't do a good job explaining where the money's going. And so we're going to attempt to do that today. So 795 in 2024, 800 last year, both didn't pass. The number that we're asking for is 769. So that includes roads, and that includes our operations budget. All right, so then I remember last year when we started doing these numbers and people get confused. Well, wait a minute, it's going from 795 from 350. And so that's not true. Over the last 11 years, we've had different dues and roads assessments and legal fees. So this top line here is what represents really what the bill is going to be on your statement in May if this is going to pass. All right. So what we're asking for is 769. That a decision will be made on March 14th, and we still have the $50 marina assessment. People will say, is that in there too? So the overall bill is 819, right? So I'm going to focus specifically on the operations budget. The proposed budget is $344,000. That's broken into what we actually need. We know exactly where every dollar is going to go. $319,000, and we've recommended that we put in a contingency budget of $25,000. Let's set that aside for a second. We'll talk about that in a minute. But 319. Okay, so where does our money go? The top 10 things that we spend our money on as a community. I've tried to distill this down. The detail is, we have more detail on this on our website. There's even more if you ask for it, but I've tried to distill it down so people are clear where our money is being spent as a community. Our number one expense is wages. That's our office primarily. We also have some money set aside for our snowplow drivers, but about 49,000-ish is our office staff. Our office staff is open 36 hours a week during the winter. It's open 44 hours a week during the summer. We have an additional 12 hours a week on busy weekends to make sure our office staff is there. They are the central hub of our community. I think our office staff is doing a fantastic job. But there's a cost associated with that. And we budget 10 days for snowplow drivers. If it doesn't snow, we don't spend that money. But again, that's where our money goes. That's number one. Number two is insurance. We're going to spend $38,000 insurance. So that's a comprehensive policy that covers everything, including our snowplows, including our airport, including our buildings. So that's gone up a little bit, not too much from last year. Number three is basic road maintenance. Basic road maintenance is not a capital improvement plan that Ed will talk about here in a second. This is just basic things like if we have some basic culverts that need to be cleaned out, if we need to spray the side of the road for weeds. It includes $6,000 a year for our maintenance for our snow plows. So we'll talk about that. And that money is that's managed by the roads committee. But at $34,000 is what's in the plan. Number four is our bookkeeping and accounting services. Okay, so this is all our accounts payable, accounts receivable, our financial statements. This is for writing, payroll services. This is, that's Fieldstone. That's what we pay for them to do. Our taxes are $25,000 a year. That's state, federal taxes. And restrooms. This is always a fun one. We have $20,000 budgeted for our restrooms, our outhouses. I mean, it seems ridiculous. It's a lot of money. Hold on, there's a question.
The issue is, can you put it in slideshow mode because people aren't seeing your full screen?
Well, when I put it in slideshow mode, for some reason,
It freezes.
It freezes, and we're having a little technical difficulty. Let's try it. Hold on.
That's better. It's not great here, but it's better online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me.
Hey, Kyle, it was fine.
Hold on for a second, folks. We try it again. Let's see. All right. I'm going to have to do it this way. I'll try to make my screen a little bigger if I can. And I'll make this slide presentation available, put on our website so everybody has it. Sorry, folks, this is the first time we're doing this. I do these presentations all the time. I don't know why I'm having troubles today, but All right, there you go, technology. All right, so we're talking about restrooms. So, we have a bunch of restrooms down by our beach. They're about 40 or 50 years old. They're falling down and we haven't maintained them as a community, and they were just not safe. So we boarded them up or locked them up, and we've rented outhouses for the last few years.
Sorry, it's the screen is misshapen. Your bars aren't even lining up.
Okay, hold on here, guys.
Can you refresh the screen?
Maybe.
That did it.
That did it?
Yeah. At least from what I'm seeing. It doesn't help when you do that because it helps here, but not on the.
Not on the screen?
Yeah.
All right.
I see it's
All
wet.
right. Well, we'll talk through it. And again, we'll make these slides available to everybody. So on our restrooms, we have 12 restrooms during the summertime. We have 2 in the wintertime. And a restroom costs $130 to rent. An ADA unit costs $230 to rent. And from April, from like Easter to Labor Day, we have to have 12 restrooms, and they get used. They get pumped out every 2 weeks. So that's about $12,000. We want to take the rest of that money and start to rebuild the outhouses we have down there. It'll take us a few years to do that. But essentially, if we could rebuild what we have down there in some way, shape, or form, Kevin Williams he's on the volunteer fund. He has volunteered to put together a plan to do that. So we're going to spend about $11,000 or $12,000 on portable restrooms. We have about 8 left over to start rebuilding our bathrooms down on the beach. And that beach gets used a lot in the summertime. Nobody likes to talk about funding bathrooms, but somehow we have to have a way to figure that out. The next one is technology. So our website, our HOA Start platform, our PropTIA platform that runs our gate, our internet access service, all that comes up to $20,000. The next one is a planned maintenance on solar. The solar system at the office, I asked Sam Walker, he does the maintenance on that up there. And I said, hey, how are we doing on that? Is that, are we going to get a few more years on it or not? And the inverter is 30 years old. The batteries are almost 7 years old. And, the solar panels are a hodgepodge of panels we've had over the years. So we've set aside $20,000 to have a solar upgrade in the office. And it's, that power in the office is critical because it runs our office, it runs our gate. If we do it and do it right, it's going to last us another 30 years. But we might be able to get another few years out of it, but it's either do we run it to failure or do we have a planned maintenance and get it upgraded? So we budgeted for that. The next is professional security. On our large weekends, we have historically always hired a professional company to come out and make sure that things stay safe in here. Just the presence of security, prevents a lot of problems. We budgeted $15,000 for that. Steve Grenier is responsible for that. He's out now getting quotes for that right now. Number 10 is legal. We all love lawyers. Unfortunately, you do need to have one. This is my first year on the board. We've tried our best to never talk to lawyers, but there are times where you need to. And, we budgeted $14,000 for our legal fees this year. And again, hopefully we don't need to have it. We're through the Del Monte issues. We're through all the big issues. But if we decide to upgrade our CC&Rs, that type of thing, unfortunately you have to have a lawyer involved to help us do that. So that's the top 10. That's 80% of our budget on those line items. I'm going to pause right here. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right.
Well, just a quick heads up, just to make sure we're all understand as best we can. So when we got done with the budget, we took a look at this and we said, okay, what does the number represent? So when we finished going down through this budget, line item by line item by line item, that number came out to 494, there's a 96.
494 per.
494 from an increase from 350 to 494. And we didn't touch the number. We didn't round it up to 500. We didn't guess at it. This is the number that after we looked at every single account based on need, what does that number represent? And it's 494. So that's how we arrived at that number. We didn't work it backwards. We said, what is the need? And what does that number represent? And that's the number that it came up with. So from an increase for the assessment for dues, 350 to 494.
All right. So the contingency budget. In the last few years, there's been a lot of debate on the concept of a reserve study, whether or not we were required to have one or not. The answer is Three Rivers is not required to have a reserve study. And I didn't know what a reserve study was until I got on the board. Reserve studies are something that's used in homeowners association and landowners association, where they identify planned maintenance activities, and it's really for people that have swimming pools and tennis courts and all that kind of stuff, which we don't have. But the reality is we do have unplanned maintenance that happen. So as a board, as we're putting this budget together, we've felt it's irresponsible not to have some money set aside for a disaster of some kind. We had a situation where somebody hit ice, slid through the gate's broken. Well, we didn't have any money to fix that. We have situations where we have rock slides or a road slide. We have no money to fix that kind of stuff. So we're putting together a $25,000 contingency budget specifically for unplanned maintenance. Don't touch that money unless it meets a certain criteria of unplanned maintenance. All right. So the funding requirements, and this is my last slide. It's $819. That includes $494 for the operations budget, includes $275 specifically for roads, and we're going to continue the $50 marina fund. And I will be giving an update at the annual meeting, giving everybody the inside baseball of what's happened over the last year with Mr. Stills. And but we're making good progress. We're not at a point to vote on anything yet, but we're aligned with, he wants to make sure that that marina is there for our community, and how we get there is starting to be crafted up. And I expect in the next year we'll have something that, and we can't touch that money until the community votes on it. So we're not going to vote on it on March 14th.
We have a question
Okay.
on the solar. The question is the 20,000 for the solar seed money, or will that cover the total cost?
Yeah, I don't think it's, I'm going to let the people that decide what to install in there, how much they need to do that. I mean, we all live in a community where new solar systems are needed. And my guess is $20,000 isn't enough. But it'll be enough to certainly take care of batteries if we need to. It'll be certain to take care of a new inverter if we need to. I think it's probably going to be closer to, $30,000. That's the number I have. But if this passes and we decide to move forward with this, we'll have some people get together and design this out and figure out what they need to spend and how do we reduce risk of, the goal is make sure the power is on all the time at the office.
When you'll have your contingency fund.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, does the unspent contingency fund carry over year to year accumulating?
So I'm answering this as Kyle Thompson, one board member. This is a decision that has to be made as a board. But I would say yes, that we build up a contingency fund that we do not touch, that is for unplanned maintenance. How big does that get? At one point, do you stop paying? That's going to be a board decision.
So it wouldn't be restricted 1 year.
No, well,
Well, it's not restricted in the sense that it's a restricted fund, like we have our other 6 restricted fund accounts, like legal, garbage, volunteer fund, and so forth. But it's only going to be used specifically for unplanned maintenance. So you could call it a restricted fund, but it's only for acts of God, you know, flood, fire, some things that we just don't anticipate, and it happens.
It's based on a relative decision.
Yeah, the board will always make a decision on that, but again, it's because we are not required to have a reserve study. This would be for that, for those purposes. A reserve study is for any fixed assets or anything along those same lines. But our declaration, our articles of incorporation, and our governing docs or CCRs, those were all written in 1970, 1971, which means that we are not required by the Oregon Plan Community Act to have a reserve fund. So this would be, I mean, there's a reason why, you know, there's a mandate to have that moving forward, but we don't have to have that, but this would be in place.
Ed, you need to,
you need to sit here.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to turn my back to you, Kyle. I want to stand here.
No, people can't.
Did you all hear that? Were you able to hear that online?
Yes.
Okay.
We heard most of
Okay.
it. If I could pipe in a little bit as a board member, I think that, yes, absolutely, that it should carry over each year and accumulate when it's not spent. So whether it's I understand that we are not required as, you know, an HOA to have that, but that's a choice that we are making. And if we are not spending it, it should stay in that reserve fund.
Dave Towery here. The way this is written, this is for 1 year. This is included in the 494. This is a 1 year thing. This will come back up again next year. This is not a continuation like a marina fund, the way this is written.
Well, obviously, we'll have to look at all this as a board. So each year, the way the
Can I ask who was just speaking?
That was Dave Towery.
Yes,
Okay, thanks,
Tower.
Dave.
Yeah, so the way our budget works is that the treasurer is the the treasurer is the budget committee chairperson, and each of the 6 board members, they make up the committee. So each year, when we go to decide what the budget is going to, what we need for the budget, we sit down and we go through that. Obviously, this year, it took us 3 meetings and a 4th to ratify it, to get it finished, because it was so involved this year. But to Dave's point, that's one of the things as a board we have to consider is each year we take a look at the budget, see what we have based on needs, and it's going to be in our bylaws from 350, it'll be at 494. So based on 494, we'll be looking at each individual account, much like we've done in the past, and decide what we need based on needs by each account. If that contingency fund needs to be funded again for another year, we'll have that option. If we feel we don't, then we'll have that option too. But in either case, we need to evaluate the budget every year and then make a decision based on need. So to Dave's point, that's how we have to take a look at it. So getting your input tonight on what we think we should do with that contingency fund helps us to, as a board, to make a decision. It's what we need to represent you and what you got and what everybody wants to do. It's not just what we think we need to do. It's, and this is the purpose of the town hall, and we'll get the same feedback at the annual meeting and so forth. So that's how this works.
Yeah, can you come up here and speak into the mic, or would you mind doing that? Just so we have 30 plus people on.
I just wondered what the money for the roads is going to be dealt with,
Ah.
what's gonna go for.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're coming up to that.
We're gonna go to that right
That's
now.
coming
I got one
here.
more, I got
okay, well,
one more question
If,
online. I think you've
I
already.
could,
Yes, we'll go right
if
into
I could
roads.
make a request, anybody that is in the room and not on Zoom, if you come up to speak and ask a question, if you could announce who you are and then start talking, because none of us know who's talking on Zoom.
we'll try to do that.
Okay, there's one more question online, and I think it may have been answered, but is the 20K solar annual assessment anticipated to have an end date when the solar system is updated, or is it planned to be an unending assessment? So it's really not a separate assessment, it's
No.
actually a budget line item?
It's a budget line item in maintenance of the office, right? So we put in there $20,000. That'll get us started on a new set of batteries. For anybody that's been up here for a certain amount of time, batteries are going to last you about 7 years, then you have to buy new ones. The technology's changed rapidly. But we know we're going to have to buy some batteries this year or in the next few years. And the question is, do we do it now? Do we try to get another year out of it? Next year in the budget, once we have the solar system, obviously, we're not going to budget for that for next year. They might need that money to do something else with. And, that'll be the board at that time that comes up with a budget that makes sense. We go through this process every year. There's no shortage of things that need to be fixed in our community. We've done our best job to identify some things that need to be done kind of short term, and there's a bunch of long-term things that need to be done as well.
So the next question, isn't this a 3-year plan? But the roads assessment actually is
Right, the roads assessment.
a 3-year plan.
So again, what I've talked about on the operations budget, we're talking about the $494. That is the operational plan. Within that is the $25,000 contingency budget. I'm going to turn it, if there's any more questions on that, I'll answer them. And then I'll turn it over to Ed and we'll talk specifically about the 275 and what that includes. So is there any questions on the operations budget? Okay. All right. So I'm going to put up, this is a little bit of an eye chart here on the roads plan, but Ed's going to walk you through that and talk about what's going to be done with the roads over the next 3 years.
Okay, so Kevin Fitzpatrick is the chairman of the roads committee, and him and his team put together the ask for the roads plan. It is a separate plan. Can they hear me? Can they hear me?
They asked you to get closer.
Okay. Right over the top of it. Okay, so Kevin Fitzpatrick is the chairman of the roads committee, and him and his team put together the proposal for the plan. And Kevin put together a 5-year plan, and they based their plan on the same principle that the budget committee did for the general fund assessment. And that is what is the needs of the roads? What does that dollar amount represent? So he used the same concept. So Kevin put together a nice 1-page document. Hopefully you can see it. If not, it's posted to the website. When you first log in, the assessments and the proposed roads plan are the first thing you see on the first landing page. And if you click on that, you can go right to it. You can take a look at it, at your leisure and so forth. It's all there for you to basically make an informed decision based on the chart that Kevin put together. But out of his 5-year plan, as a board, after he presented to us as a board, we decided to just have a 3-year assessment for the first 3 years. And the reason for that is the road preparation for the first 3 years. And if you take a look at the plan, it'll lay out exactly what each of those items are that he's proposing. So the representation of the dollar amount is $275 for each year for the next 3 years. And for the 26 budget, the 27 budget, and the 2028 budget, everything on this chart is laid out exactly what he forecasts are the needs for the roads for those 3 years. And those 3 years are really preparation for being able to have options on year 4 and 5. So we're going to be looking at chip seal as an option. We're going to look at overlay as an option. And the first 3 years will be just to prepare the roads for the options that are going to take a little more substantial. And the reason for only going 3 years for a dollar amount for the assessment is because who knows what's going to happen in year 4. The price of the barrel of oils goes up and down. I mean, it's all over the place. So to try to forecast a dollar amount now, it's a futile gesture. We really need to wait until after 3 years of getting the maintenance and getting the roads prepared. Then we can take a look at what the needs are and then forecast what those needs are and propose those to the membership for years 4 and 5. So it's a very, very nice comprehensive plan for the next 3 years. And that's what it is. It's a comprehensive improvement plan. We're calling it the CIP. So when we refer to that, that's what we're talking about. $275 a year, and what does that number represent? So I'm going to try to walk through the first year as an example, just so you have an idea. So roads and common area maintenance, $12,500, snow blading, $6,000. Unpaved roads and road sign striping, $1,500. Brush cutting and spraying, $14,000. Paved road resurfacing, which is the crack seal, which is really, the crack seal is the best bang for our buck for the preservation of the roads, $34,000. Then we've got roadway crack seal, chip seal products for $139,722. Asphalt repairs and pothole, $51,678. The total capital improvement, $191,400. And the expenses at $225,400. We've got budgeted funds of $34 right now in our general operating fund. Those are separate funds for maintenance. So the CIP, the capital or the comprehensive improvement plan, is for all the other stuff that we need to do for the preparation for years 4 and 5. So the whole plan is going to be $191,400. So that's his plan for each of those years. It's very well laid out. There's notes to talk about what it is. Again, it's for the membership to be able to take a look at this stuff and make an informed decision on it. But that's how we came up with the 275 per year. Sir.
I've got a question. On the 6,000 for the snow plows, what's that entail? Just the cost of the operator?
No, the operating, that would be under personnel expense under payroll. We have a separate
Why
fund
do we have
for that.
somebody we're paying for where last year was all free? They didn't want to. Yeah, we had one man that'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure it was plowed. All did on their own time. Why are we paying somebody? Did you ask anybody else that they'd do it?
No, we did not. No, we have Mike Fisher is our lead on that, and him and Jay. Are you going to let me finish, or are you going to continue to speak?
On the
Keep asking.
6,000,
Keep asking.
on the snow plows, where's that? Is that just maintenance on them? Are we getting rid of one of them? Where's the 6,000 coming from?
Well, the 6,000 is budgeted for maintenance requirements, any kind of repair work, just the basic needs of the snowplow. Again, it's a line item. If we use it, it's there. If we don't use it, it's something that can be rolled in for the next year. But the point is, we compensate the snowplow drivers for their time out there, just like we do our assistant treasurer and so forth. We budget that in for them to compensate for that. So yeah.
So that's money that's being spent that doesn't have to be.
It says maintenance right there.
Well, so let me try to give this another shot at answering your question. So why are we paying people to drive the snowplow? One is those people are on our insurance. We specifically call them out. They're covered insurance. If a snowplow, the truck gets wrecked or a snowplow driver gets hurt, we need them to be under insurance. So we need to know who they are. I think we're beyond, as a community, expecting people to do stuff for free. we appreciate it. I'm the co-chair of the volunteer fund. We're constantly asking for people to donate their time. But when we need the roads plowed, and I live here full time, we can't just expect to have volunteers to do stuff. At least this board, we elected to pay our snowplow drivers. Hopefully we don't need to. Hopefully it doesn't snow, but we know it does snow. And I think it's
$25 an hour. Not how much, how many?
We have two. We have Mike as our primary driver, and then we have Jake Clay as our backup.
Jake didn't want to be paid, right?
if he doesn't want to be paid, that's.
I don't know. I don't know what Kevin's arrangement is for that, but that's between Kevin and Mike and
Jake.
Jake.
And so, but specifically for this.
Question.
That's fine.
But hang on, I also want to answer the question because you had a valid point about the third snowplow. So we decided we were going to sell the snowplow, and we can sell that up to the value of $10,000. Anything after $10,000 requires a vote of the membership. But we just don't think it's worth $10,000. But we can't put it on the market until we have a clear title for it. And we don't have a title for it. We've searched everywhere for the title on that thing. And I don't even know if we ever had a title. But in either case, we do not have a title. So right now we're in title search for it. And the office has been tasked with that. Dave was kind enough to give the office staff the assignment of getting everything that they need to through the DMV to get a new title. And once we get a new title, then we'll put it up for sale probably on, I don't know, some website
Social
to,
media.
we'll put it up for sale for a dollar amount that'll be somewhere under 10 grand. So that's the plan for getting rid of that snowplow. So right now we didn't even insure it for this year. We just insured the two snowplows. And to do that, again, to Kyle's point, we insure the drivers and the trucks, and for that we compensate them. So yeah, another question. Sorry.
What happened to the spreader? The stainless steel spreader? What happened to it?
That was
Given away?
yeah, I think we donated that to someone.
Was it the board? Or did you do it? The board did that?
No, that was a board decision.
Board decision.
Nobody makes any individual decisions when it comes to anything like that unless it goes.
Why was it given away? A $10,000 piece of equipment needed $1,000 worth of work that we could have used on some of these steep roads. Why was it given away?
Well, that's what the board decided. We decided we didn't need it anymore, and so we decided to do
Paid
that.
for it. Why wouldn't we assume? I mean, why wouldn't we ask?
I remember this coming up at a board meeting. To my knowledge, the spreader didn't work with the truck we had. We didn't.
Bought with the truck.
Yeah, but I don't think it worked.
None of the controls or anything matched up or very.
Yeah, the controls on the spreader didn't match the truck. We didn't use them, and this was, and I don't recall all the details of it, but
Well, there was multiple reasons. One, that the type of media that the thing was designed to spread was not just straight gravel. It was something that we had to purchase separately. We had to store it. We had to keep it dry. It just didn't fit what we needed to do. It was just a piece of equipment that was unnecessary. So we had someone that was interested in it and the board. It was proposed to the board, and the board agreed on it. So
He was the Lance.
he was the one that.
Hey,
acquired it.
Mary, when people are talking, it's kind of hard for some of us people on Zoom. So I don't know how you could do it, but if it's possible to move the microphone over, and so we can hear the whole conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
thanks. We have two other questions.
Okay, the first one, we actually have three maybe.
Okay.
Can you clarify what the maintenance of 25,000 in general fund will pay for if bush cutting, snow blading, et cetera, is in this assessment? It's actually a duplication. So the top part of this is actually
So, yeah.
detailing out what is in the general fund, that
Right.
25,000. And then it's the bottom part where it is
That's
the
correct.
ask.
That's correct. When you look at the budget, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line items, that's part of the roads plan. That 34,000 is in the general budget. So whether the roads budget passes or not, those things will be taken care of and funded by the general fund. The 191,000, that's the capital improvement plan. Is the capital improvement plan. If you take that number, that's what the 275 represents, 191,000. 191,000 plus 34 gives you the 225 for the complete roads maintenance plan.
Okay, the next question is, have we considered that new construction, new dwelling going forward, pay a one-time fee towards roads? I know when I built, I put more wear and tear on the roads than normal use. This would be on a go forward for new owners and replacing of existing dwellings. There are some pretty heavy trucks coming in.
So that was a plan that was proposed and approved by the board. Tammy, did you hear that question? Is that something you want to address from the architectural standpoint? It's not really part of the roads, but it's worthy of answering. So would you mind fielding that question?
Yeah, that was something that was proposed, and so we put together a little schedule of a fee chart depending on the square footage of a shop or a building, and it was like $500 or $1,000 just to help out on that. And we put that in place. I think it was for about 3 months, and then it got brought back to the board, and then we voted it back out. So it's something that I guess that we could, consider again in the future, but it's, something that some of the owners liked it, some of the owners didn't. And so maybe that's something that we should put in a survey out to the actual owners and get their opinion on it. And then the board could decide on it from what the owners think.
Okay,
Any other roads questions?
to tag into that, has it been considered to use existing property value to weigh the roads due? So in other words, the value, I guess the taxable value of a property?
Bare land percent.
It was considered. Tammy, do you want to expand on that one as well?
I
Tammy,
don't
did
think
you get
I
that
understand the question. To tag onto that, has it been considered to use existing property value to weight the roads due? Oh, you're talking about the value of the property. So if there's a $1 million property versus a $200,000 property, no, we have not considered that at all. That was, there was something that I brought up a while ago, and it didn't carry very far or anything like that, because it kind of brought up the roads and the maintenance on the roads. So the maintenance on the road, some of the roads have smaller maintenance, some of them have higher maintenance, and so they cost more, like Upper Canyon and the airport strip, and then you got all the little side roads and stuff. And we don't have anything in our bylaws that say that we can charge people different dues. And so that was shot down. So I don't have any more input on that, I guess.
Thanks, Tammy. No, that was a good answer. Thank you. Any other questions on roads?
And would you ask that people on the phone also identify themselves, please?
Okay.
Can do.
Okay, I know a lot of heavy guest users are not on high value properties. It's just a statement. Okay.
Does anybody have any other further questions on roads?
Kevin does.
Kevin?
I got a question. Is there any kind of map?
Come on over
Kevin,
here.
you have to come over here.
Oh,
Come on, Kevin.
That's right, buddy. I
Got to do the walk.
Kevin
man.
Williams, I just got a question on chip sealing and stuff. Do we have any kind of map or showing what we're gonna chip seal out here, what roads we're gonna work on?
No, I can, the only thing I can answer on that is we had Carlton Testing several years ago come out and test all the roads for, and they ranked them like an A, B, C, D, level. And based on that, they gave us some ideas of what could work and what couldn't. So, if the roads have a really good solid road base, chip seal could be a pretty good option. But if it doesn't have, because chip seal doesn't really provide a lot of support and it's just not for heavy structure. But like what the county did in front of Three Rivers from Perry South all the way up into Culver, that road base was really strong. And so when they did that chip seal, it really turned out real nice. So we'll just evaluate the roads at that time. Kevin said he'll evaluate them with his team and then make a decision where it can be as an option and where overlay is an option.
Okay.
So
I'm
it all
just curious
depends.
what roads we're gonna work on, and
We don't know at this
we don't
time.
know.
It'll still be up
we just
for-
have the money, we're gonna go out there.
Well, we're gonna decide what the needs are after the 3 years. Then we'll decide, at that time, what the best option is. If oil goes way down and those, but who knows,
It's
right?
not gonna.
You never know. I mean, but yeah, it's just hard to forecast that out at this point.
I have at least two more questions. Has there been any discussion regarding charging guest fees? The fee revenue could be used towards roads.
Again, that would be a Tammy question, but we have discussed that as an option. But we went a different route. We just haven't had a lot of construction coming through here. Tammy, how many construction packets did you receive the last couple of months?
I don't think that's really talking about the construction. They're talking about guest fee charges. And so if somebody
yes.
is having, a group of people come in, say it's Memorial Weekend, Labor Day weekend, 4th of July, there's, a lot more people in there. And then this is something that was actually, I heard quite a few other owners at the last annual meeting talk about with the increased dues, because they were saying, I wouldn't mind that, telling, the guests that I invite up on these big weekends, like, you got to go into the office and, give them $20 or $40 or whatever it is, because they get to come, camping for free. And how many places, do you get to go camping for free and then get all of the amenities that we have also? And so it's not a bad idea. I just don't know how we could implement it. And so I think that could be something that the board could discuss and try and figure out a plan in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. Yeah, well, it's something for us to consider moving forward. Yeah, it's a good idea to consider. Yeah.
There's a suggestion that we charge $20 per car for non-residents. So the other question is, why was the new construction fee voted out after being voted in by the board?
Again, I would have to have Tammy answer that one since she was, closest to that. So,
that was it was not brought up by me. Sorry, my phone. I'm trying to remember all the details of that. I don't remember all of them right now, but it was not brought up by me to remove it. It was one of the other board members. And so I don't know if the other board members are in the room right now, but I think it was a 6-0 vote, and it had to do one of the things that was brought up. Oh, okay. I do recall some of it now. Okay. So Steve brought up because one of the gentlemen that lives up here, his shop burnt down. And put in an application to rebuild a shop, getting it permitted and everything like that. And so the next board meeting that we were at, I was asked if that fee was charged. And I said, I'm not going to charge somebody a fee to rebuild their shop when it got burnt down. It wasn't a new build. It was something that was, horrible that happened to them. And then in that discussion, we talked about if we should be charging these fees and stuff like that. And then we ended up voting at 6-0 that we should remove it. So
The other
any
comment
of
that
the
Joe-
other board members in the room remember or can
Joe
put
Parrott-
any input in on that?
Just a minute, Tammy. Joe Parrott basically said it's because fees and assessments can only be approved by landowners. The board does not have the authority.
That's what I
So
recall.
that was why it was revoked, because it wasn't,
Our bylaws don't allow us to
Yeah.
assess fees to individual properties. The board cannot, that's voted on by the bylaws.
That's right. Thank you.
And this is Steve Grenier, the gatekeeper. I was going to bring that up on the guest passes. That's not the board's decision to just go, boom, we're gonna start charging for guest passes. That would be something that the landowners would have to bring up. And you have that ability coming up in March.
Any other questions?
is this able to be calculated with current data we have now? I bet guest fees in $5 range would make a nice dent in the budget.
Comment, okay.
It's a comment.
Does anybody here have any questions for Rhodes?
Or any other,
Or any other questions regarding the two measures?
Additional fees when it comes to gas and stuff like that. Oh, it has to be
Please come over here.
additional fees. Great suggestions, by the way, but additional fees have to be managed by somebody. So we've got a budget here, admin fees. If we're going to start charging nickels and dimes and stuff, that costs money, manpower, paper, printer, ink, all this kind of stuff. So to do that, it's not going to be very much of an offset to make it profitable. It doesn't make sense.
Who are you?
Dave Collar.
Okay, thank you.
Previous president of the HOA.
They asked to introduce
all
her.
right, well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. This is Kyle, and I'll just give my 2 cents. This board has spent a lot of time putting this thing together. If people have questions, comments, don't be afraid to ask. This is our first time presenting it in public. We didn't necessarily do probably the best job, but and we'll do a better job at the annual meeting. But if you have questions, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. Send us an email, Ed or I or any other board member. I mean, we all as a board put this together, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask.
So I wouldn't mind making a last minute comment too. So we've done everything we can to try to utilize the communication tools that we have available for us to give everybody as much information as we possibly can. Kyle and I have been doing our best as videographers, doing some video and posting the content to our website. After each of our board meetings, we'll put together a 10 or 12-minute video, because we know that some folks just don't have the time on a Sunday to spend 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours on a board meeting once a month. And so our idea was to keep people as informed of what's going on with every available tool we have. Our HOA platform that we're using right now, the HOA Start platform, has great option for us. One of the goals for each board member for 2026 and the chair people are to upload all of our documents onto that website now to keep everybody as informed as possible. So in the past, we'd have a lot of paper filing and so forth, and we're trying to go away from that. So now we're loading all of our content through the office onto the website so that it's easy for you to find. You know, you can search for it and then you can find it and then you can evaluate it or print it or whatever it is you want to do. but we're now using a cloud-based storage system for all of our documents. So for 2026, it's everything, our contracts, our governing docs, anything that we have, our process information, it's all gonna be uploaded to the website. So the more we use it, the more information will be out there for you. So we're trying everything we can, including these town halls, to get the information out so you all know. So when it comes time for the annual meeting, it won't be the first time you've heard of these two important measures. So that's our goal moving forward.
I think they did a great job. Yeah.
That's it.
Bar's open.
Bar's open. Thank you all for attending.
Want me to turn the light on in there?
Yeah.